Hello guys, back again, this time of course in the usual basement of doom. Anyway, today I want to talk about something really cool. This is something a lot of people just never saw going to ever happen because over the years with the iPod touches and the iPhones, Apple has been basically very, very strict and their message has been very clear that they wanted no controllers for their iOS devices, that the touchscreen controls is the way to go. They wanted to stay different from traditional handhelds, and they were no interest whatsoever in a controller. And a lot of us know, who've ever played on an iPhone or iPod Touch or even an iPad, that the touch controls are most of the time less than perfect. That a lot of times if a good game has bad touch controls, it completely ruins the game and it makes it unplayable. And it's hard to make touch controls perfect for everybody. Some people's fingers are bigger, some people's fingers are smaller. Will it register them or not? And it could be a pain playing a game. That is basically, almost a crapshoot, buying a game and hoping the touch controls work properly. A lot of times me playing games, maybe a Galaga game or something on there, that the buttons and stuff, because they're touch control, don't respond as fast to me as it would if I was actually, hitting a real button playing a shooter. And so this surprised people that it was announced that the IOS7 is getting its very first controller. It's from Moga, who's also made a line of Android controllers, and it's the Moga Ace Power. Now, this device is made for basically the iPhone 5, 5C, 5S, and 5th generation iPod Touches. Basically what it is, it extends out, you stick your phone or your iPod Touch in the middle, it locks in, what I've read, very easily to lock in and out, so that's not a problem, and it plugs in through the actual part you charge your iPhone or iPod, because the cool thing about this device is if you have more than 25% charge on the controller, it'll actually charge your iPhone or iPod while you're playing. And no, this controller does not have any plug-in. It doesn't plug in while you're playing. As long as it has more than 25% charge, it'll charge your iPhone. So in a sense, you are getting more battery life out of having this controller tied into your device so you can play games longer, which is a really plus. This controller does cost $99. I know some people are going to say that's really expensive, but if you look at basically anything in the line of iPhones or iPod Touches for these Apple products, they're all expensive. They're not cheap. But this is the first controller. It does look, because it's the very first one, some people call it not looking like a professional controller. It looks a little cheap. But let's talk about the layout of the controller. So obviously your iPhone is in the middle of the screen. In the upper right corner there's a thumbstick, in the very upper left corner there's a thumbstick, in the upper right bottom there's another thumbstick. Then there's the D-pad, and then you have the traditional X, Y, A, B buttons up here. And so it has everything what a functioning normal controller should have. Now, this only works if the games have controller support, which right now some games do, some games don't. Obviously, as we go along, every major game needs to have controller support for people to adapt the controller, and I'm sure they're going to. I'm sure early on you're going to see a lot of games, if they haven't already done it, build controller support in. Obviously, any new game coming out will have controller support, so you'll be able to play, your games with a controller instead of touchscreen, which is to me very cool. It also kind of in a way makes your phone a handheld gaming device, which is cool. If you don't want to have a 3DS and you don't want to have a Vita, and you like mobile games and you want games that you normally, not all the time, but majority of the games right now are quick, easy, 5-10 minute play games, sit down and play and then do what you're doing, and a lot of them are set up for you have a quick break or a little time to do something. This is great for you. Now there are more longer advanced games out and being built currently for the iOS. It's just not there when the majority of them are that. And so this controller makes it great. Now my question for you is this: if you have an iPhone 5, 5C, 5S, or a 5th generation iPod Touch, would you actually buy this controller for it? Is that one of your main gaming devices? I know a lot of people, it's funny, when you bring up the phone, a lot of people don't want to admit it is. But me, every 2 or 3 months, I catch myself, for whatever reason, that day or two, I play a ton of iPhone games, and then I go back to doing what I normally do. Maybe it's my fill, maybe it's just those games, but that's it. Actually, we've actually spent more time playing on our iPad games than I've actually spent time on my iPhone, to be honest with you. But what do you think about the new controller? Do you think it's cool? Would you be interested in it? I'd love to hear your guys' opinion. And do you think the actual iPhone has a chance of people wanting to buy them, and there'll be more controllers in the future? Love to hear your guys' opinion, and I will talk to you guys again soon.